If I knew these 5 truths at 18, I would have made my first 100K way faster. I would have skipped the burnout, the distractions, and built real power early. So this is me, 30 years old, telling my younger self what actually matters. Let's get into it. So the first thing that I would tell my younger self is going to be that your habits are everything. The habits are going to be the foundation to your success, especially in your early 20s, right? So a lot of people say, Gus, I'm not motivated. I need motivation, right? Everybody thinks that they need motivation, but motivation is fleeting. Nobody is motivated 100% of the time. So that means you have to build habits and you have to build discipline, because that's what's going to allow you to get shit done. There's a lot of things every single day that I don't want to do, but I still do, right? Like sometimes I don't feel like going to the gym. I don't necessarily feel like I'm motivated to record this video right now, but I know I have to do it, right? So there's certain things in life that you're just going to have to do regardless if you are motivated or not. And this is where the discipline is going to kick in. Discipline isn't sexy, but it's what builds kings. So that's the first big mindset shift that you have to make, is forget about motivation. You don't need to be motivated. Nobody is ever going to be motivated all the time. So forget about motivation and start building the habits and start building that discipline, right? Now, how do you do that? Okay, you got a great mental framework now. You're not going to be relying on motivation for everything. That is step one. Next is you have to build your identity. So you have to build the identity of the person that you want to become. This is going to be your archetype, right? This is going to be the framework that you're going to live by to make sure that you're in congruence with that. So for example, if I told you that I want to become a multimillionaire, I want to be extremely jacked, I want to have a six-pack, I want to have an amazing social life, do all these things, dress well, right? So that is my archetype, let's just say, for this example, right? And then you see me on the weekends, I'm getting drunk, I'm eating fast food, I'm wasting time playing video games. Now, I'm not really acting in congruence with my archetype, right? With my identity. There is a misalignment there. And this is what a lot of people do. A lot of people say, hey, I want to be successful, I want to make all this money, I want to do all this, but they're not acting in congruence to those things, right? So the world is not going to reward misalignment. So you have to be congruent with what it is that you want, and congruence in your actions. And that's really what I mean. Congruence in your actions, right? So with that being said, start building your identity of the man that you want to become. What does he look like? How does he dress? How much money does he make? And then build a plan and build those daily habits to start acting in congruence with that. So for example, let's just say that my dream identity is a multimillionaire with a six-pack and extremely shredded, right? Then, okay, that person is probably going to need to go to the gym. That person is going to need to eat healthy. That person is going to be focusing every single day and focusing on things that are going to make him money, building a business, learning high income skills, right? So those are all things that are in congruence with that dream identity. So this is how you have to start thinking about things if you want to actually achieve your goals, right? You need to build that brand identity. You need to build that identity of the person that you want and then act in accordance with that. And that is going to be backed up by your daily habits. When it comes to daily habits, most of the time it's not that you need to add stuff, it's that you need to remove stuff. So think about all the harmful things that you're doing right now, right? Let's just say you're drinking every weekend, you're doing drugs, you're watching porn, you're eating fast food, all these different things, right? The first thing we want to do is use the removal process, because it doesn't matter how many good habits we stack on top of that. If you have these bad habits that are destroying your life, it's going to be very hard for you to actually make progress, right? So again, the first thing is the mindset shift. Forget about motivation. Second thing is build that identity of the person that you want to become, and then make sure that your actions are in congruence with that. Number three is start the removal process. So whatever it is that's holding you back right now, only you know your vices, right? Like everybody has different vices. Like for me, it was drinking every weekend, like fast food. Like those were typically my vices that I found. Okay, I need to like chill out a bit. I need to cut back. I need to stop for a while, right? So you have to self-analyze and figure out what is hurting you and what is holding you back, right? So start with that removal process, and then finally start actually building those daily habits. And these can be very small daily habits when you're starting off. So for example, it can be like, okay, today I'm waking up at a certain time. Today I'm going to hit the gym. And today I'm going to work for a few hours building my business, right? Those are simple tasks that you can accomplish daily that are going to drive you forward. And again, you want to start building those habits. Don't start too crazy. Don't start a checklist of like 20 things in your first day, right? Start off with three simple things that you can do every day. And that is what's going to build confidence. And that is what's going to allow you to keep going and achieve bigger and bigger things. Now, if you can just follow the things that I mentioned here, this is what's really going to allow you to build that confidence, build that self-respect within yourself. The self-respect that women feel, men notice, and money follows. This is what's going to set the foundation for your success. The second thing that I would tell my younger self is to control and cut out the vices, right? And I know I talked a little bit about this in the first point, which is you need to be able to see where you are messing up, right? What is it for you? Is it the alcohol? Is it the drugs? Is it the fast food? Is it all these different things that could potentially get in your way and cause you to self-sabotage, right? So you have to understand that these are all things that are going to be extremely like out there, especially in here when you're in your teens, when you're in your 20s, right? Like there's going to be drugs, alcohol, women, all these kinds of things that are going to be distractions that are going to distract you from where you want to go, right? So again, everybody has different devices. Everybody has different things. You have to self-analyze and figure out what those things are for you. And you have to realize that in your 20s, you have to just really put a tremendous amount of work. I'm talking about 10 years of hard work to set you up for life, right? So you can't allow yourself to waste your 20s. You can't allow yourself to be distracted by all these different things, waste time. These are just things that are going to set you back, right? So again, first step is self-analyze. Okay, what is actually holding me back? Write a list of all these things that we talked about, right? All these potential harmful things, and figure out what is destroying you specifically, or what is holding you back specifically, right? And once you do that, okay, you already won half the battle because now you know what to look out for. If you're watching this right now, I'm not saying you have to be a monk, right? I'm not saying don't have fun. I definitely had a lot of fun in my 20s. But what I'm saying is don't overindulge into things that can potentially destroy you. This is why a lot of people ruin their lives when they get and reach success so early, because they don't know how to handle it. And again, they didn't control their vices. They fall into these deep rabbit holes, and it is very, very harmful to fall into those, especially when you're making a lot of money. So yes, have fun every once in a while, but know your limits and know that you have to grind in your 20s to be able to set yourself up for life. The truth is that these distractions are why most men stay average, right? All of these things are why most men don't make a lot of money. They are out of shape. They have no social skills, right? This is why you need to be able to avoid these traps and really focus on developing yourself as a man, building your habits, right? Start dialing in your habits and then cut the devices. These things are going to allow you to get out of your own way and start making progress towards your goals. That's the big problem most men have, and that's why most men stay average. They just don't get out of their own way. They just can't. They're too clouded. Their judgment is too clouded by all this garbage. So, again, if you want to be ahead of most men, you have to dial in your daily habits and you have to control the vices before they destroy you. Now, if you are struggling with vices currently, don't try to do everything at once. Try to eliminate one of them at a time, right? So, for example, if it's fast food, try to not eat out as much, right? If you're eating fast food 7 days a week, okay, try eating fast food 3 times a week, right? Like, don't try to go on this crazy cold turkey thing because most of the time it's not going to work. So, again, start the process of elimination, start cutting back, and then eventually you want to remove all these harmful things completely, right? So that is going to be the process of elimination. Start slowly cutting out your vices. And once you start cutting out those harmful vices and you start replacing those by good daily habits, you're going to be shocked by how fast your life is going to change for the better. All right, so the third thing that I would tell my younger self is to build high income skills. You need to be able to build high income skills or stay broke. The reason why I've gone through my 20s and I've lost it all multiple times in my 20s and I've been able to come back from that, it's because I possess high income skills that I've learned over time, right? And I'm not talking about Forex or crypto or all these things that don't require any skill. I'm talking about sales, copywriting, media buying. These are hard skills that are extremely valuable in the marketplace today. And I can't tell you like how much confidence you get when you know that you have these skills that are very valuable in the marketplace, that even if you go broke, you could make it all back because you possess these skills, right? And that's powerful, right? Because whenever you have somebody make a lot of money through something, like crypto or like some sort of investments, right? Like, yeah, those are all great things, but you don't really learn anything. So you need hard skills besides gambling on meme coins, right? Like, you actually need hard skills that you can use in the marketplace to have people pay you money. So I would recommend learning high income skills. Again, I mentioned a few, right? You need to be able to learn these hard skills because now you're not trading your time for money. Now you're actually providing a service that you can charge a lot of money for, because if you try to play the game where you're trading your time for money and you're making $10 an hour, $20 an hour, now that is going to be extremely hard for you to actually get rich and make money and be free, right? So again, you have to start learning these high income skills. And once you learn them, once you put them into practice, you want to start stacking them, right? Like, I have all these skills in all these different areas because I've learned so many things running my business, and I've gone through so many experiences. I've gone through so many seminars, gotten so many mentors, right? And these are all things that have helped me tremendously in my 20s, and they gave me the confidence to be able to take those risks and know that even if it all goes to shit, I still got my skills and I can make it all back, and I can come back, and I can come back stronger and stronger and stronger. Now, you don't need to learn 10 skills at once. If you are a young man right now, I would recommend that you learn sales. I think sales is the most valuable skill that you can learn. I started in sales when I was 18 and I got a few years of experience, and that's really how I started. That's what started it all. So you could never go wrong by learning how to sell. Once you know how to sell, things just become so much easier. And you're selling. If you're new, you might be on a base or you might be based in commission, or you might just be commission, right? And that is a great way to start getting some experience and allow yourself to make money based on your performance versus getting money, $10 an hour, trying to work a certain amount of hours. Like, that is just not how you're going to get ahead. So go ahead, and if you don't know what to do, if you don't have any skills, start by learning about sales. Remote sales is great, right? Because there's a lot of people with services, with offers that actually need people like you to sell their products and services. So that would be the easiest way. That also gives you remote freedom where you can work anywhere in the world with your laptop, right? So those are the things that I recommend when you're getting started. So with that being said, you need to build skills in your 20s. This is what's going to give you the confidence to try a bunch of different things, try, fail, make a lot of money, start over, right? And then eventually you're going to have all these different skill sets that you can monetize. And once you reach that level, it's going to be a very powerful thing. So again, learn as much as you can, skill stack, invest in these things, right? The best investment you can make is not some random crypto coin, is yourself, your self education, your mindset, your ability to have hard skill sets that you can monetize, right? So this is a non-negotiable in your 20s. You have to build these skills because this is what's going to allow you to actually make money, start a business, become free, be able to do whatever you want, have that location freedom, right? So these are non-negotiables. Can you get lucky with a random meme coin and make a lot of money and get rich? Maybe, but do you really want to rely on that? Or would you actually rather put in the work, build the skill sets? And then if that does happen down the road, great, that's just an extra bonus, but this will guarantee your success. All right, so the fourth thing that I would tell my younger self is that you need to get in shape because your body is the most important thing that you have, right? Obviously, you want to be healthy, but you also want to look good. You also want to become that walking billboard of discipline, right? Because that is obviously going to allow you to get more energy. That is going to allow you to be more self-respected. That's going to make your social life better, your dating life better, all these different things, right? Everything is going to get better when you get in shape, right? And if you actually look at a lot of these successful entrepreneurs out there, they're like, okay, how do you become successful? And the first thing they say, it's like, hey, start with getting in shape. And you think, okay, well, how does that have to do with making money, right? And once you actually start getting in shape, you start going through these hard things. You start building discipline. You start feeling better. You start feeling more confident. You start having more energy. And these are all things that are going to correlate to you making more money. So right now, let's just say you're 18, 20, 25, right? The most important thing that you can do is start going to the gym, start eating healthy, start tracking your macros, make sure you're not putting stuff into your body that is harmful, right? That is going to be the foundation of everything else that you're going to be doing with your life, right? So again, you want to do this for a multitude of reasons, obviously, physically, like health-wise, mentally, right? You cannot have a healthy mind when you don't have a healthy body. It all starts with the body first. So right now, if you are not going to the gym, well, first you want to start going to the gym. That's step one. Again, step two, make sure you're eating clean. Make sure you're tracking your macros. That is actually very important to actually making progress and looking good and feeling good. So these are things that you have to do to be able to build that foundation. And like, for example, I started working out when I was about 16 years old. I was a very skinny kid. I was about 115 pounds, which is crazy to say, right? And over time, if you work out consistently, you're going to start building that muscle mass, that muscle density year after year. And that is really what's going to allow you to build that frame, make progress, right? So again, you want to start by getting in shape. That's going to be a very important part of being a man and becoming successful. So you could have all the money in the world, but if you look like shit, people are not going to respect you. So your body comes first. Make sure you stay in shape. Make sure you train hard. Make sure you push yourself, because that is going to make a big difference in all areas of your life. It's going to affect the opportunities that you have. It's going to affect how people perceive you when you walk into a room. It's going to affect your dating life and your social life, right? So again, don't take this lightly and get in the best shape that you possibly can. All right. And last but not least, the fifth thing that I would tell my younger self is don't chase women, build a life that attracts them. At 18, you think that chasing girls is the game. At 30, you realize attraction is a byproduct. See, one of the great things about being a man is that you can build your own value and you can become whoever you want to become. You can build your own identity like a video game. And it's very powerful because at 18, there is a blank slate where you can decide who you want to be. Now, what most guys do is they spend all of their 20s chasing women, trying to trick women into liking them, trying to go after them, trying to do all these things, right? And what they don't realize is that that is a losing game. Focus on yourself. If you focus on building yourself, then it's going to be a lot easier to just attract women into your life naturally. So instead of just chasing them, wasting your time, running around trying to chase women, trying to get girls to like you, trying to trick girls, why don't you become the best version of yourself, the best possible version of yourself, so that you can just naturally attract women, right? And the truth is that, you know, when I was 18, the caliber of girl that I would be able to get at 18 versus the caliber of girl that I can get now at 30, there's a night and day difference, right? So I'm not saying don't date, but I'm just saying focus on yourself first, focus on developing yourself as a man, and you would naturally start to attract women versus trying to force it and trying to chase women and waste your time, right? So that is all I'm saying there. And when you make that shift and you make the priority your mission, becoming better, making money, getting in shape, doing all the right things that you're supposed to be doing in your 20s, right? That is going to put you into a different bracket of men. So again, focus on yourself, focus on your mission, focus on becoming the best possible version of yourself that you can, so that when you do meet the right person, that you'll be able to be the best person for them. So with that being said, you don't get girls by chasing harder. You get girls by becoming better. So once you're able to be the best possible version of yourself, you're going to start attracting higher quality women, which is what you want, obviously. So that is going to be one thing that I would say. I see so many guys wasting their time, not self-developing, trying to chase these girls that frankly don't want them instead of focusing on themselves, right? And that is going to allow you to get all those other things handled. And then eventually when you do meet the right person, you actually be somebody that person will be proud of, right? So that is all I would say in this topic here. I don't want to go too crazy with it, but again, this is a very important part in a man's life. And I think this is where a lot of guys go wrong. They waste too much time. They get into the wrong relationships, and that ends up destroying them, right? So again, focus on your mission, focus on developing yourself so that you can show up the best for any person that you meet in the future. One last thing I will say about this is that you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. So if you're thinking to yourself, man, I'm just not attracting the right woman, then you have to really self-analyze within yourself and see why that's happening. Maybe there's something about yourself that you need to improve on and that you need to fix. If you're 18 right now, please don't let this go over your head. Start stacking wins, kill your vices, build skills, train your body. The life you want isn't about luck. It's about becoming the man who can handle it. I'm not just here to go viral. I'm building an army of men who are done being average. If you're with me, hit the subscribe button and let's build.